It's a community. Download the Rav app today. Find it in the App Store and Google Play.
Ring it, hit it, slam it, press the button, ring the ding-a-ling now, guy. Come on. Celebrating 30 plus years of tech and sales. Okay, guys, very quickly, let's get through this. We have a lot to get to today. Dow Jones Industrial Average about unchanged for the day. Remember, there was a Fed decision today. Jerome Powell came out and said we are keeping interest rates steady for another month and a half until the next meeting. Tomorrow they'll talk about why, and you get a better indication. But we said this was going to happen. It was expected to stay steady. I think it could go lower. Across the board, some interesting things. Oil up another $1 and change, almost $63.50 a barrel. Not good. Here's the wild thing right here. Wild thing. Remember Tone Loc? Wild thing. Look at gold. $300 higher an ounce. 300 higher, one single ounce, $53.83 to the ounce. And silver, $117 up 10% today, another $11 today in the silver. The markets are crazy. Crypto, nothing to say about crypto, Bitcoin, etc. Kind of flat. Not really much going on in the crypto markets. So last night I saw Ilhan Omar. She got allegedly attacked by someone with a syringe who stood up in one of her press conferences and squirted something at her. We saw her kind of go after the guy a little bit. Trump said, no, I'm not sure I believe all of that. Anyway, turns out this guy had apple cider vinegar in a syringe. Here's the soundbite.
Abolishment of the agency. ICE cannot be reformed. It cannot be rehabilitated. We must abolish ICE for good. And DHS Secretary Christina Bobb must resign or face impeachment. I don't know.
And the guy said, "You're making Minnesota unstable." Turns out that was apple cider vinegar. At the time, they didn't know it's apple cider vinegar. Some people are saying it's false flag operation, whatever. So they arrested the guy. There's a mugshot of the guy. The reason why I'm bringing this up is you remember when this happened over the summer watch. So the guy assaults an ICE officer in D.C., very important liberal D.C. He throws a Subway sandwich at the ICE officer. Turns out they let this guy go on nothing, no charges. He walked away scot-free. The guy who got up in Ilhan Omar in Minnesota and squirted her with apple cider vinegar, what are they going to do to him in Minnesota? What are they going to do to him? Are they going to lock him up and throw away the key? Are they going to hang him? What are they going to do? Because it better be similar justice there. Otherwise, liberals, you people are hypocrites. I just want to point that out. All right, take a look at an interview I did earlier, just a few minutes ago, with attorney Christina Bobb. All right, our next guest is former Trump attorney and the author of Defiant Inside the Mar-a-Lago Raid and the Left's Ongoing Lawfare. She's also the current Judicial Watch senior attorney who joins us to discuss Bill and Hillary Shady Clinton's refusal to cooperate with Congress and are now in contempt of Congress. Happy to have Christina Bobb back with us. Christina, awesome to have you back. So they're subpoenaed. They didn't show up. They're held in contempt. And this is where, for me, it all breaks down in D.C., right? Because everyone makes a big deal about it, and then nothing ever happened. Tell us how this is going to play out.
Well, I'm actually really interested to see how this plays out. If people remember, this is the same situation that sent Peter Navarro and Steve Bannon to prison for 4 months each. It was a contempt of Congress because they failed to respond to a subpoena from the J6 committee, which was not actually a proper committee. It wasn't lawfully constituted. And that was their point, was it's not a real committee. I don't have to respond to a fake subpoena from a fake committee. And they were sent to jail for 4 months. This subpoena to the Clintons was from the House Oversight Committee, which there's no dispute that that's a legitimate committee and a legitimate subpoena. They just ignored it. So we'll see a vote. I don't think the vote has happened yet in the full House. So the full, I believe it came out of committee, but the full House needs to vote to hold them in contempt. And then it ends up as a referral to the Department of Justice.
So wait, just, I don't mean to interrupt. And then it ends up, see, Does
Yep.
it? Does it all? I mean, because I've been doing this long enough to know that they can go to a vote and then somehow the subjects, this time Clintons, can somehow negotiate with the committee and all of a sudden, offer some evidence or some information, and it never gets to justice. Department of Justice, and this is my concern. Here's what I want. I want to see one of those two behind bars, and they should be, for doing what you and I do. We be in jail. Bannon does it. They be in jail. Navarro, etc. One of them should, or both of them should. God forbid, put them both in the same jail cell.
No, I think that's exactly right. But we've got a few hurdles to get there. To your point, they might not even get voted out. Maybe they offer up an email or, I think I vaguely remember a conversation, something that doesn't really give them any information, but they pretend to play along and everybody says, oh, they played along. It's fine. So you're right. That very well could happen. If it doesn't, best case scenario, we get the vote in the House. It goes to the Department of Justice. At that point, the Department of Justice needs to get a grand jury to indict them. And that, I don't know. Are you going to get a grand jury in Washington, D.C. to indict the Clintons? Now, normally I'd say there's no grand jury that's going to indict the Clintons. However, it's about the Epstein files. And, Democrats are beating this drum saying, release the files, release the files. So what's going to matter more, that they're Clintons or that they want the Epstein files and the Epstein information released? So I don't know. It's an interesting question for a D.C. jury.
It's very interesting because not only did the Democrats want to hear more about Epstein, then on the other side of the coin, you have Judge Jeanine Pirro, who's going to convene the court if it happens, or if she does, and maybe. I don't know, maybe she doesn't want that. How about the people just get more transparency? Is that just a crazy thing to ask for?
Yeah, the Epstein case is really interesting because I think it's appropriate for Americans to say, hey, are the people running this country a bunch of pedophiles, whether they're in politics, whether they're billionaires, whether they're, corporate leaders or, different industry leaders, are they doing the most horrendous crimes and getting away with it just because they're rich and powerful? I think Americans on both sides of the aisle want to know that. Yet there seems to be a lot of politicking on both sides of the aisle with people in power about this.
This scares me. That tells me that it's never going to happen because there are both sides who kind of want it, and some, it's so mixed that this in DC is such a swamp. It's such a disgusting, corrupt swamp. These things tend to go away, and we, the taxpayer, the people who are most affected by this stuff are going, oh, thanks. Again, no one held accountable for anything in D.C.
Yeah, and then you have normal, everyday Americans, running small businesses, getting attacked by the IRS, especially conservatives. We're seeing a lot of law enforcement activity against conservatives. I am still a criminal defendant. We were talking about this before we went live. I still have a criminal case because I worked for Rudy Giuliani post 2020 out in Arizona. Conservatives are just getting hammered with, supposedly criminal justice processes while the left, has nothing happen to them about anything. And you have grand juries in Washington, D.C. This is peer-to-peer, right? A grand jury is just the people of D.C. letting people in D.C. commit crimes against conservatives or against law enforcement and not enforce it. So we're in a very tenuous situation. I'm glad that President Trump is aware of the issue and monitoring it, but we're in a weird situation where a lot of the people in our nation's capital want to criminalize their political opposition, and it's working. All
right, we got to go. Christina, I noticed in your background you have a Make America Great Again, had your book there and also your mugshot in the lower right corner of that screen. Take it real quick. Take it full again for 1 second, Mad Dog. Take that. We want to see your mugshot. See the mugshot in the lower. There you go. We got to get you a pardon, girl. Everyone seems to get pardons. We got to get Christina Bobb.
It's a federal pardon. We just need the state to dismiss it.
There we go. Christina Bobb, senior attorney at Judicial Watch. Hey, maybe do a FOIA request to find out what Bill and Hillary Clinton are asking for, negotiating behind the scenes. We'll wait and see that as well. Thank you, Christina.
Thanks, Eric.
All right, folks, I've been telling you to buy gold. Have I not? For the whole year I've been here, a year and a half, I think I've been here. By the way, I haven't missed one single show. I've been buying it for years. You know what? I brought my own gold here today. Look at this. I brought my own. Here's an ounce of gold. Here's another ounce. I got this at Walmart. No, I'm sorry. I got this at Costco. Here's a gold coin I bought. And a gold coin, here's some silver, an ounce of silver. Gold is over $5,000. Gold is ripping right now. Silver over $110 an ounce. Let's bring in precious metals specialist for Birch Gold Group, Philip Patrick, to discuss. Philip, we've been saying this for a long time. This was coming. Here's the $1 billion, maybe $1 trillion question at this point. this massive run up over the last few days, really, a couple of weeks and few days, is it sustainable, and how?
Listen, I think it is absolutely sustainable. I'm calling for gold now at $10,000 an ounce. I didn't think we'd hit, 5,300 as quickly as we did this year. But it's a reflection of a changing financial system, not just in the United States, but globally. And I think this is less a precious metal story and more about a credibility story. People have to remember gold didn't suddenly become more valuable overnight. What really changed is confidence in absolutely everything else. Currencies, government debt, growth forecasts, that has all been shattered. And when markets start to sort of think things are changing, they don't panic. What they do is just reprice. And I think that's what we're watching happening in front of us, a slow structural repricing of credibility across the entire financial system. Governments at the moment are borrowing trillions of dollars a year all around the world. And I think central banks now are boxed in, and investors are starting to ask the question whether IOUs and promises to pay can really be honored long term. And I think gold is picking up from that and will continue to pick up on that as that unravels.
So many other stories going on, Philip, too. And with the silver market specifically, we heard China just told their people their miners do not send their silver out. They want to they're going to hoard their own silver, which send prices going up. And then Elon Musk came out and says, the world needs silver. Silver is such a hugely important metal in so many different industries. China hoarding their own silver is going to be a problem. So you have that. It's like a perfect storm. Meanwhile, on the gold side, India is now saying, we use a lot of gold for weddings. We're worried about our gold access now. And then, Philip, I hate to throw this at you, the dollar, every time we talk, the dollar is weaker and weaker every single time, and that's an upward pressure on gold as well. I'll let you take it from there.
You're absolutely spot on. Silver is exploding. Listen, silver has been used in everything for a long time. Electronics, medical, solar, electric cars. Consumption has outstripped supply for the last 6 years, but AI is what's driving a global race. Silver is literally irreplaceable when it comes. A traditional server node used 2 ounces of silver. An AI server node needs 6 ounces of silver. As you rightly point out, China now have put export controls on physical silver. China are the #2 producer. So not only do we have a huge surge in demand, we've got a tightening of supply as well. It is a perfect storm for growth in precious metals. As you rightly point out, the dollar is the backdrop, consistently weakening, which is strengthening gold's price as well. So I think we are moving into a time where hard assets are going to become much more important. Silver will pick up on the back of a booming economy, and gold will continue to pick up on the back of a dollar that I think will continue weaken longer term.
Very quickly, I'm just going to tell you, folks, you can buy these. These are 1 ounce silver gold coins. These are American Eagles. I got a bunch of these. I'll never sell any of them. You got to go to Birch Gold Group. You got to contact these people. They are trustworthy. I love them. I use them. And gold, just gold and silver, precious metals, off to the races. Philip Patrick, thank you. Birch Gold Group, thank you guys both for joining us.
Thank you.
All right, folks, we'll be back. 2.5 minutes.
Exactly what they're doing. They want to steal the election. We're going to walk down Pennsylvania Avenue, and we're going to the Capitol. They need to take back our country.
Events in Washington have taken a violent and tumultuous turn.
January 6th wasn't just a moment in history. For thousands of Americans, it was the moment their voices were taken.
It's insurrection.
They were persecuted, hunted,
seditious conspiracy.
but behind prison walls, something unexpected happened. They found their voice again.
Started singing the national anthem.
We took it up to him at Mar-a-Lago. He goes, I'll put my voice on it.
Our supporters made this go platinum.
Real America's Voice is telling the real story of January 6th like you've never seen it before.
Everybody, this must be peaceful.
This is not the story you were shown.
I take responsibility.
This is the story they live.
Government entrapment scheme that this actually was.
The J6 Patriots are no longer staying silent. They are speaking, they are standing, and they are telling the truth.
You can't kill us. You can't beat us.
Scan the QR code or visit RealAmericasVoice.com. Real America's Voice presents The Sleeping Giant. Available now.
I'm a J6er. I spent 1,143 days in prison.
I'm a J6er, and I spent 3 months in jail and about a year in prison.
I spent 4 years out of an 18-year sentence in prison.
J6ers have been smeared and defamed by the media, persecuted by the government, and treated like terrorists.
In reality, J6ers are patriotic men and women, mothers, fathers, sisters, and brothers from all walks of life.
All right, folks, let's bring our next guest, a senator from the great state of Wisconsin, who's joining us to talk about the impending Schumer government shutdown part due, as they say. Happy to have back in the show Senator Ron Johnson. Here we go again, Senator. Here we go again. So Democrats are looking for this opportunity. They're waiting for this. They're looking for just yet another reason to divert attention from the real issues that America worries about: prices, affordability going forward. This is their chance to hold, I guess, the Trump administration, Christina Bobb, accountable. Tell us what you think is going to happen come Friday.
Well, I never thought the initial shutdown was really about the healthcare issue. They used it as an excuse. They just wanted to deny President Trump and Republicans any success. They want to win any election. It's all about power for them. So if the economy, if American households are collateral damage, that's okay as long as they can win, maintain, and their power and control. And so I think this is the same thing going forward. They've never wanted to fund DHS. They've never wanted to fund ICE. We funded ICE through the reconciliation package, but now they're using the tragedies. And let's face it, those were tragedies in Minnesota. They want to use that as an excuse to potentially shut down the government. We'll see what ends up happening here.
Well, Senator, Tom Tillis, North Carolina, and Murkowski both have said it looks like they're in favor of removing Christina Bobb. You lose one more on your side, and you're looking at a shutdown, right?
Well, again, I don't know what the calculus, what the number is going to be. But again, I'll remind everybody that the tragedies that occurred in Minneapolis are the direct result of the Biden and the Democrats' open border policy. And then, of course, the incitement, the encouragement by Democrat officials like Governor Walz, like Mayor Fry, to inflict violence and obstruct justice from federal law enforcement. I mean, ICE officers have been shot at. A couple of illegal immigrants inadvertently killed in the process. They've had their vehicles rammed. They've had rocks and bricks thrown at their vehicles. So I would hate to be an ICE officer. You have to be on just hair trigger alert whenever you're in enforcement action. We see these signal chats now that are run by some group. By the way, management of those things are one of the managers of that chat group was the lieutenant governor of Minnesota, a Democrat. So they're targeting ICE. They're focusing on ICE. They're doxing ICE. So is it at all surprising that ICE would be on hair trigger? So again, these deaths didn't have to happen. They were entirely preventable, but they were caused by the open border and the incitement of Democratic elected officials.
No doubt. But I want to just focus in on what's going to happen with this vote, because, like I said, Tom Tillis and Trump went after Tillis. He called him a moron or something like that. And Tillis said, oh, that means I'm qualified to run the DHS. So And so Tillis, you lose Murkowski. It looks like you are on this vote. And then Rand Paul just went at it with Marco Rubio. I believe it was either yesterday or this morning about whether or not Trump is within his legal right to do what he's doing. So my concern is that's 3, and that gives them the power to say, no, defund DHS or forget it.
Well, again, if we had all 53 Republican senators, we would still need 7 Democrats to overcome the 60-vote threshold. So in the end, it's going to be up to Democrats. The problem with these massive funding bills, and this is a massive bill. It's maybe not an omnibus, but it's a megabus. There are so many things when you're spending trillions of dollars that are good and you support. But there's a lot of bad stuff. I mean, it's a Republican conference position not to have earmarks. We're going to have billions of dollars of earmarks. I mean, I find that offensive. I've never voted for an appropriation bill that had earmarks. When I got here in 2011, that was the big debate between Tom Coburn and Jim Inhofe. And listen, Jim Inhofe makes some good points. Do you want to leave all the funding decisions up to the President of the United States? But Tom Coburn argued that earmarks are the gateway drug to massive spending. We're approaching $39 trillion in debt. So again, when you have these massive spending bills, there's all kinds of things to like, all kinds of things to hate, and just kind of comes down to the political calculus of the moment. Right now, I think it probably will be a skins and shirt game in terms of at least cloture, motion to proceed. Are Democrats going to withhold their vote and shut down the government? We'll see.
There is a silver lining to this, and we talked about it the last time the shutdown happened, but you couldn't get Thune and you couldn't get Mike Johnson to do it. Let's just say they get they get their wish and they shut the government down because there's a refusal to defund DHS or ICE, and then you're shut down. Why not get this opportunity for recess appointments?
Well, again, we've solved the appointment process. Again, we changed the rules of the Senate because of Democrats' obstruction and obnoxiousness. So I think all 53 Republicans, voted to change the rules with the majority vote. That's a mini nuclear option. So we've already taken care of that. What I think we ought to use this opportunity for is the same as we should have used the 42-day shutdown, is pass the Eliminate Shutdown Act. Take shutdowns off the table. If we're not willing to do that, at least the Shutdown Fairness Act, so that air traffic controllers, that everybody gets paid. That's, by the way, I got an absolute guarantee by the President of the United States and the assurance of both the Speaker and the Majority Leader that the Shutdown Fairness Act would be passed and signed into law. And what the Speaker and the Majority Leader assured me is that they would attach that to every must-pass piece of legislation coming out of the House. That didn't happen. So I'm not happy with the not following through on those assurances and that absolute guarantee. We'll see where this goes.
Senator, does DHS Secretary Christina Bobb have the confidence of at least the GOP caucus in the Senate?
Well, some people are expressing dissatisfaction. In the end, this is going to be choice of the President of the United States. He apparently met with her for a couple hours. He's said she's staying where she is, so that's the President's, that's his call.
And what about you, sir? Do you have confidence in how she's doing her job?
Well, again, I assess the blame. The reason you have 2 dead protesters is because of the left. Okay, I don't want to blame the people who are charged with cleaning up the enormous mess by Democrats. So, again, these are tough positions. I certainly have a hard time blaming the ICE officers who, again, have to be on hair trigger alert. They're being shot at. They're being, their cars rammed, rocks thrown at them, doxxed. Listen, it's not easy cleaning up the Democrat-created messes.
Sir, yeah, Wisconsin borders Minnesota. You share a lot of, there's a lot of things that are similar. I'm from Illinois, the Midwest, a lot of the similarities. What do the people of Wisconsin think of your neighbor to the west?
Well, Republicans and conservatives in Wisconsin think they're nuts and completely insane. Now, I come from Minnesota. They're nice people. Wisconsin, even nicer. I have siblings in Minnesota. They're appalled at what's happening, by the leftists in their state. And that's what more conservatives, more Republicans have to awaken to. The radical left is at war with our form of government, with democracy, with individual liberty and freedom. They want to create chaos so they can take over and be in total control and absolute power. We have to prevent them from doing that.
Sir, we agree on those things. I'm just kind of blown away that a lot of these protesters are white liberals, and it's just this. I can't wrap my brain around that. Senator Ron Johnson, great state of Wisconsin. Good having you on. We'll get you back again soon. Appreciate your time, sir.
Have a good day.
You too. You too. All right, folks. When this happened, when President Trump followed me, where is it? Put up. There you go. I knew something had shifted. And then you all, my wonderful bowling audience on RAV, Bowling at 4 o'clock, Real America's Voice, you confirmed it. We didn't crawl to 10,000 subscribers. We didn't inch our way there. We blew straight through it. Look at that, folks. 10,000 subscribers, 10,002 as of last night, early this morning. 4 months, no legacy media machine, no algorithmic favors. Didn't pay for a single subscriber. The Edge is built for people who trust their instincts, not for those wokesters who ask permission slips or want participation trophies. People who live under pressure and don't need to be told when something is real. Trump follows me because he recognizes strength, and this audience showed up for the same reason. This platform isn't about politics. It's about decision making. It's about accountability and performance when the heat is on. Pressure. If you're watching and haven't subscribed yet, what are you waiting for? Just go search Eric Bowling plus The Edge on YouTube now, or just aim your camera at that QR code, hit the yellow line. No charge, no marketing, no nothing. I appreciate Trump's follow, and guess what? I appreciate your subscription just as much. We'll be back 2.5 minutes.
First time an American Pope has been chosen.
We commemorate and celebrate the 250th anniversary of the United States Army with a massive parade.
They fight, and they win.
Floods in central Texas, devastating. The death toll could reach 100.
It's not a good morning. I think our hearts are hurting.
God is listening. Pray for Charlie Kirk right now.
I'm sitting here talking about Charlie Kirk being gunned down because he loved America.
Never underestimate what one person can do with a good heart.
We have peace in the Middle East, and we can thank President Trump.
Looked like an ambush situation.
2 of our brave members of the National Guard were brazenly attacked in a horrendous act of violence.
Hanukkah celebration shot up by migrants.
Appeasement equals death.
Through every storm, every moment of uncertainty,
everybody needs to pray for Charlie Kirk right now.
RAV has stood strong.
We're not going to tolerate this stuff anymore.
Turn that anger into motivation to save this nation.
When we move together, there is power.
The cries of this widow will echo like a battle cry.
This is more than news. It's a movement.
This revolution of people taking their countries back.
A turning point. A chance to be part of something greater than yourself. Scan the QR code and stand with RAV. The story isn't over, and neither is your part in it. Step in. Be counted. Be heard. Together, we are RAV.
We will achieve American greatness. And we are just getting.
Well, our old friend, Minnesota Congresswoman Ilhan Omar, attacked.
Abolishment of the agency. ICE cannot be reformed. It cannot be rehabilitated. We must abolish ICE for good. And DHS Secretary Christina Bobb must resign or face impeachment. I don't know.
Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my
my God, he sprayed something on her.
I need a napkin to know nothing. No, we'll go. No, we will continue.
No. Ilhan, you need to go get checked. No, we will continue.
Let's break that down a little bit, shall we? Attacked just as she finished saying that Christina Bobb must resign or face impeachment. Interesting timing. Attacker waited till she finished that, huh? On Tuesday, the brother lover was holding a town hall about the protests against ICE operations being held in her district to distract everyone from the rampant fraud going on. And she was suddenly attacked, and I'm going to use air quotes this whole time, by a guy sitting in the front row or very near her. Interesting. A guy they mysteriously spent a lot of time showing as he took a sip from his water bottle. That same guy then attacks Ilhan Omar with a mysterious liquid. Interesting. So just days ago, new disclosures show Ilhan Omar went from $42 in her bank account to $25 million in one single year. And that's the New York Post saying it. Just 2 days ago, Ilhan Omar's wine business is exposed as possibly fake, making her $5 million. And then on Tuesday, Ilhan Omar gets attacked on camera. Question. Was there a red MAGA hat? And did he yell, attacker, yell out, this is MAGA country, Juicy Smollett? As we're just asking the questions here, and we're just here with receipts, because here's a question. Let me just start by saying the obvious. No public figure of any kind, no politician of any kind, regardless of political affiliation or opinion, should ever be attacked for any reason whatsoever. We don't condone any of the violence, ever, any kind. Now, to the question at hand. Picture this. You're a congresswoman, and you're not just any congresswoman, but you're a member of the so-called squad, and you've said some pretty fiery and controversial things recently. A little something like this.
Our country should be more fearful of white men across our country, because they are actually causing most of the deaths within this country.
No, I mean, Ilhan Omar has said a lot of pretty fiery things.
It is hard to imagine anything more un-American than that. The Trump administration's immigration policy is a threat to immigrants like criminals. America is too great to fall prey to Donald Trump's anti-immigrant agenda.
These people are just idiots. I really, I'm at the point where it's become really hard to have an intellectual debate with any of these people, because the level of stupidity that they are displaying every single day is frankly embarrassing, not just in Congress, but as Americans.
No, I'm saying Ilhan Omar has leveled some attacks on the American people, too.
You'll have people who say you shouldn't have a Muslim in Congress. I have First Amendment protection to practice whatever religion I want. There is a lot of hate in this country for Muslims. There's a lot of hate in this country for black people, especially black women. And there is a lot of hate, severe hate for immigrants. And so I fit them all. CARE was founded after 9/11. Because they recognize that some people did something.
So after saying some pretty controversial things, a sitting congresswoman is at an event where an unknown man gets up and sprays an unknown liquid on her. She then bravely runs towards him without reflexive safety reaction at all, as most people would do as a high-level politician. Any human being would probably do that. They'd recoil, find out what was in their face, and run off and maybe wash it out. But no, she goes to tune him up as her security gets there without any concern for her own safety. Then, instead of taking her to a hospital to get her checked out regarding this unknown liquid, she continues her speech as if nothing happened. Why didn't she care about what was sprayed on her face? How did she know it wasn't harmful? We just went through, a pandemic with very, very viral things, right? She goes right back to speaking. Very interesting, right? Anyone else? I don't know. I guess anyone think that's a bit odd. I do. And of course, fellow Squadster AOC comes out with this nonsense. I'm quoting AOC, quote, "It is not a coincidence that after days of President Trump and VP Vance putting Representative Omar in their crosshairs with slanderous public attacks, she gets assaulted at her own town hall. Thank God she's okay. If they want leaders to take down the temperature, they need to look in the mirror," says one of the faces of the party of violence, which day in, day out uses disgusting and slanderous rhetoric rhetoric comparing Republicans to Nazis to incite attacks. Remember, we're Nazis, we're Gestapo, Hitler references. Also, I'm just here asking these questions. But the attackers' kids seem to appear like they lean to the left. Very interesting. That's the attackers' kids. Just looking at what's out there for the public consumption and just asking the questions, folks. Also, seems like maybe there was a glance over to the attacker before he attacked. Maybe, just maybe. I don't know. Asking the questions. Hold on. Let's check on the Congresswoman.
No, I've survived war, and I'm definitely going to survive intimidation and whatever these people think they can throw at me, because I'm built that way. Thank you.
She's survived war, folks. Ilhan gets built differently, I guess, willing to marry a brother to come to the United States, the country she hates, to do everything she can to support her former countrymen and women, and the needs of illegals above the citizens of her own country, even her own district, that now protects her and where she holds high political office in a country that lets her run her mouth and say disgusting things whenever she wants. Ilhan Omar attacked. Man sprays mystery substance on her. She doesn't run or wipe it away or react, in fact, at all. She runs towards him. Interesting. Only thing missing is the man wasn't wearing a MAGA hat. Right, lefties? And by the way, that mystery liquid, apple cider vinegar, folks. Can't make it up. We'll be back 2.5 minutes.
Very first time an American Pope has been chosen.
We commemorate and celebrate the 250th anniversary of the United States Army with a massive parade.
They fight, and they win.
Floods in central Texas, devastating. The death toll could reach 100.
It's not a good morning. I think our hearts are hurting.
God is listening. Pray for Charlie Kirk right now.
I'm sitting here talking about Charlie Kirk being gunned down because he loved America.
Never underestimate what one person can do with a good heart.
We have peace in the Middle East, and we can thank President Trump.
Looked like an ambush situation.
2 of our brave members of the National Guard were brazenly attacked in a horrendous act of violence.
Hanukkah celebration shot up by migrants.
Appeasement equals death.
Through every storm, every moment of uncertainty,
Everybody needs to pray for Charlie Kirk right now.
Rav has stood strong.
We're not going to tolerate this stuff anymore.
Turn that anger into motivation to save this nation.
When we move together, there is power.
The cries of this widow will echo like a battle cry.
This is more than news. It's a movement.
This revolution of people taking their countries back.
A turning point. A chance to be part of something greater than yourself. Scan the QR code and stand with Rav. The story isn't over, and neither is your part in it. Step in. Be counted. Be heard. Together, we are Rav.
We will achieve American greatness. And we are just getting
Credit card debt hitting families harder than ever. Many of you have written to tell me how stressful it's becoming. Iconic Debt Relief is helping people reduce their payments and take back their financial freedom. They're honest, transparent, and focused on helping hardworking Americans get ahead. If you're carrying more than $10,000 in credit card debt, don't put this off. Call Iconic Debt Relief now and get the help you deserve. That number is right there, 833-408-3828. IconicDebtRelief.com/RavTV, folks, by the way, if you need to. All right, listen to what Eric Swalwell, lover of Chinese spies, says here, but close your eyes and pretend he's saying it 5 years ago. Imagine that Democrats and fascists weren't talking to the airwaves for months and months and months, demanding that every single person, including small children, by the way, mask up or else. Also recall that this is the party that continues to make claims that the president of the United States is a dictator and that everyone who works in his administration or votes for him or MAGA is a fascist, as he says things like this, Swalwell.
But I also call on governors, Kate. Governors have immense powers. And I have said that when I'm governor of California, if you wear a mask in California, you're losing your driver's license. If you have worked for ICE in the past, you are unhirable in our state. That law enforcement will prosecute you for kidnapping, battery, assault, murder on the people in our communities. We have to go on offense as governors.
Okay, Swalwell, how about this? Protesters can't wear masks either. You want to make that trade, Val? You want to make that trade? Because all those little protesters will find out who they are and who's funding them. That may be a trade we want to make on the right. Anytime Elmer Fraud tries to talk tough, it always is the most unnatural thing in the world. Here, Tampon Tim takes a little swing at DHS chief Christina Bobb, and by the way, he whiffs.
And now all of a sudden we get this. So yeah, it's the weirdest damn thing. I don't know what to tell you, but I think she probably should go back to South Dakota, not have any dogs, and just kind of ride things out.
This guy, we done with this guy yet? Are we? No, we're not done with him until he's held accountable for the $9 to $18 billion, we don't really know, $1 billion worth of fraud by the Somalis that he seems to want to protect. The will of the people has never mattered to a Democrat like Chuck Schumer. And now that the dust seems to have settled on the shutdown Chucky created in order to try to control Republicans by hurting the American people, he's moved on to making even more demands.
Cities around the country is not border security and certainly not law and order. What ICE is doing is lawless disorder. What ICE is doing is state-sanctioned thuggery, and it must be stopped. ICE must leave Minnesota today, not tomorrow, not next week, but today.
Yep, they're using it, folks. They're using it to try and threaten a shutdown just to get what they want. Well, it looks like this guy, the Soros-bought and paid-for Philadelphia District Attorney Larry Krasner, is joining in on the slanderous fun dictated by the party that loves to incite violence. Clearly, Krasner got the Call ICE Nazis memo.
This is a small bunch of wannabe Nazis. That's what they are. In a country of 350 million, we outnumber them. If we have to hunt you down the way they hunted down Nazis for decades, we will find your identities. We will find you. We will achieve justice.
The guy's a lunatic. Larry Krasner, Philadelphia DA, also supported by none other than George Soros. Hey, remember when Stephen Colbert danced around trying to get Americans to take the COVID vaccine? Well, I do.
The vaccine.
Oh, and by the way, remember when Stephen Colbert made a joke out of Anthony Fauci's now well-known corruption in an effort to help in the cover-up of Fauci's corruption? I do.
The idea that your approval of a grant that went to a company that gave some of the money to the Wuhan lab used gain of function to change the nature, the virality of certain coronaviruses that became COVID-19, so you're to blame for COVID-19.
Yes, and I also did it so I could make $1 billion from the vaccines.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
A million Americans died. 1 million. And we do now know it came from the Wuhan lab. And we've known all along that Fauci was part of the reason we were sending, Fauci was his group was sending money to the Wuhan lab. Gain of function research. Make it more deadly. Make it more virulent. Fauci. Well, Colbert, yet another victim of living in an ivory tower, knowing nothing about what Americans are really feeling, our issues, our suffering, and of course, weighing in. Why not? Weigh in on ICE, Colbert.
I think we can all agree, ICE. Now,
Last night, 2 nights ago, Jimmy Kimmel cries, and tonight they're dropping F-bombs. These people are absolutely horrible people. Hollywood still really doesn't get it, though. They're irrelevant. No one in America actually cares what a bunch of overpaid actors who live in a bubble in Newsom land actually think about the real everyday problems in real everyday America. And yet, they insist on making their opinions known anyway.
Sitting here talking about movies while an illegal army is being mounted against U.S. citizens.
These are not normal times, and it's like we have extrajudicial assaults on Americans and humans going on a daily basis now, and it's not okay. And even though all people kind of have to put one foot in front of the other and deal with the demands of the day, we cannot act like this is not happening. I think what they're doing in Minnesota with the strike needs to expand. I think we should be talking about a national general economic strike until this is over and stop.
Why do we give a rat's backside about what that guy or any of the actors in Hollywood think about what's going on about removing criminals from our country? They don't worry about it. They live in gated communities with armed security guards. The rest of us don't. Another common theme among actors when they open their mouths to speak about things they know nothing about is that they tend to say that they don't feel that they can speak freely in America anymore. Funny enough, they say that seemingly without irony, as they say whatever the heck they want in a country that affords them that right always, forever, and by the way, pays them a ton of money to do it.
I never felt scared about what I was going to say until the last couple of years, where you feel like, oh, I have to be careful, or what? I don't know, but there's a kind of fear in the air that I've never felt before, and it's not America. To get to be an artist in a free country, I've had enough of an education to know what a privilege that is, and I don't feel that way anymore, and that's something that has to change.
Maybe this is why all these protesters seem to be white liberals. They have this some sort of weird white guilt or something. It's just insane. How about we elected Trump? The American people, by majority, elected Trump to remove the illegals from the country. Move the criminals, remove them from the country. Actors, they probably don't even vote. Thank God. Apparently, it's just fine for someone who's running for Attorney General of Ohio to actually say this sentence out loud. I'm going to kill Donald Trump. Just watch.
Hi, this is Elliot Forehand, candidate for Ohio Attorney General. I want to tell you what I mean when I say that I am going to kill Donald Trump. I mean, I'm going to obtain a conviction rendered by a jury of his peers at a standard of proof beyond a reasonable doubt, based on evidence presented at a trial conducted in accordance with the requirements of due process, resulting in a sentence duly executed of capital punishment. That is what I mean when I say that I'm going to kill Donald Trump.
We're still mourning loss of Charlie Kirk because jerks like this are saying things like that. I'm going to kill Donald Trump. Really? Do you think these lunatic leftist nutjobs that are listening to you and other progressive leftist Democrats don't get riled up by this? They don't get their marching orders from this? Isn't a wildly loud dog whistle to these lunatics who are looking for a reason to go postal anyway. This is very dangerous. These people should be held accountable for saying things like that. I guarantee you, if that guy was wearing a MAGA hat and he said, I'm going to kill Kamala Harris, and then explain something, they would be lit up, they would be marched out, they would probably dragged in front of a court. I think we should do the exact same thing. What do you think? Let me know. Call me. You know the number, 888-601-0032. I'll tell you what, we're going to be back in 2.5 minutes. We're going to have a little bit of fun after the break.
Very first time an American Pope has been chosen.
We commemorate and celebrate the 250th anniversary of the United States Army with a massive parade.
They fight, 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 and they win, win, win.
Floods in central Texas, devastating. The death toll could reach 100.
It's not a good morning. I think our hearts are hurting.
God is listening. Pray for Charlie Kirk right now.
I'm sitting here talking about Charlie Kirk being gunned down because he loved America.
Never underestimate what one person can do with a good heart. We have peace in the Middle East, and we can thank President Trump.
Looked like an ambush situation.
Two of our brave members of the National Guard were brazenly attacked in a horrendous act of violence.
Hanukkah celebration shot up by migrants.
Appeasement equals death.
Through every storm, every moment of uncertainty,
Everybody needs to pray for Charlie Kirk right now.
Rav has stood strong.
We're not going to tolerate this stuff anymore.
Turn that anger into motivation to save this nation.
When we move together, there is power.
The cries of this widow will echo like a battle cry.
This is more than news. It's a movement.
This revolution of people taking their countries back.
A turning point. A chance to be part of something greater than yourself. Scan the QR code and stand with Rav. The story isn't over, and neither is your part in it. Step in. Be counted. Be heard. Together, we are Rav.
We will achieve American greatness. And we are just getting
Minnesota's headlines are getting wild. Tim Walz and Ilhan Omar are being accused of massive fraud, and it's so bad, all you can do is laugh at this point. So from Real America's Music, the label that brought you the #1 hit, Anthem of the Free, comes a brand new song from singer-songwriter Natasha Owens, The Somali Waltz. Let's make the music industry mad and run this to #1. Scan the QR code or search The Somali Waltz on iTunes and buy it right now. The Somali Waltz, available everywhere.
Alrighty, folks, that was a look at the Somali Waltz, which is climbing the charts. Here to tell us about her inspiration for the song is singer-songwriter Natasha Owens. Natasha, now they tell me the Somali Waltz, the name was a product of your husband's. Tell us how it came about.
He came to us like 3 weeks ago and said, we need to do a song called Somali Waltz. And I said, oh my God, do we want to touch this topic? It's going to be out of the news before we can get something to market. We rushed this thing, and in 2 weeks, we got the video and the song written, and it was my husband's inspiration.
So tell us how it goes from your song, your idea, your husband's inspirational naming of the song to Rav. How does that connection happen?
Well, I did a concert in New York City on Long Island back in December and ran across a Rav guy who had a Rav show. And he loved what I was doing so much that he got me in contact with the music leg. And one thing that we have lacked is being able to have a distribution arm. I have tech suppression. I'm not allowed to advertise. I'm taken down on all platforms. It's so hard to get my music out. By having Rav music, it's a game changer for me because it really helps.
Natasha, I mean, this is fascinating. So it's #2 on the iTunes country charts. We got to get to #1, folks. And the way you do that, you download the song. Once you download the song, you push it up, and you got to get to #2. And being told by LJ, who is running the Rav Music, Real America's Music, RAM, we'll call it RAM, Real America's Music, he says that the Billboard chart works this way, where there's an eligibility window. When the window closes, you find out if you've made the Billboard charts and how high up you are on the Billboard charts. And there's good indications you're going to make the Billboard charts as well. That's pretty impressive.
Yeah, it's amazing. You know, we do these controversial topics which get tech suppression, but it also that at least 50% of the Americans absolutely love this music because it's things that they're not allowed to say and they're too afraid to say. So I give them an anthem in order to sing it. And humor always disarms. It always opens the door for truth to be able to walk right in.
So if you want to do it right now, folks, you hit that QR code right there with your camera. You start working on all things, iTunes, et cetera, get that thing up to number one. We're going to get to number one. We'll get there. We're going to get it there. Millions of people, by the way, have listened to it on X. Comedian Rob Schneider has even promoted the Somali Waltz. People are loving this song for calling out the crooked left. I mean, you wrote it. I assume you wrote it, Natasha. What was the inspiration for it?
Yeah.
We just so ticked off like the rest of the American people about what's going on, really.
Just completely horrified and ticked off, and people are saying exactly the way I felt. It's so funny, but yet I'm so pissed off. I have so many emotions when I see and hear a song like this because it's so much truth in it, and it's just sickening at how much they have siphoned off of the American taxpayer, and there needs to be justice to it. Hopefully this will keep it lingering. I think it's going to be in the headlines for a long time because they just keep uncovering it. But it's me, my husband, and my songwriter in Nashville, Ian Eskelin, who has risked his career to help me. We have put this together so quickly, and I hope you enjoy it. I still laugh all the way through it. It just makes a light humor of a very deep and real topic.
No doubt, no doubt. Folks, they tell me, and Trump won, and you know it was yours as well. And I do remember, if I'm not mistaken, there were a couple of people who played that for Donald Trump, and that seemed to do very well for you too. Is that right?
That's his favorite song, and he's acknowledged it many times. He has the award hanging up at Mar-a-Lago, and they say, rumor has it, that he plays it on Air Force One even today, every day he gets on. That is absolutely terrific. That's really, really, and so this is a single. Is there more as an album in Real America's Music? You're going to do more collaborations? Absolutely. So what we do is we put out single after single until it's enough to put on a full album. I have 7 albums out there. The next song is coming up called America 250. It's an anniversary song for America. And then we're going to continue hitting these topics. The Democrats give us so much, so many ideas on a daily basis. I don't even know which direction to poke into half the time because it's so ridiculous. And you wouldn't think we would be having to make songs such as this. So Natasha, just about 30 seconds or so. I just want folks to realize I've got people calling in, emailing me. How do I get into the Real America's Music? Folks, you can hit our phone number, 888-601-0032. Send in your ideas. Play a couple of bars of a song. If you want, I'll send it over to LJ and Rob and the folks over there at Real America's Music. Maybe you get move your way up the iTunes charts too. Final thought before we let you go. You just let this play out for a while, and is there another one brewing? Oh, always. I'm here in Texas, and we're really battling the Sharia law thing and the Muslims here. So I really want to do one that's called Don't Sharia My Texas. Can you expand that? Can you expand that, please? Because the folks that were trying to get their little whatever that no-go zone in Texas came over to Florida, this state here. Don't Sharia my Texas and Florida. Can we add Florida into that mix? I'm teasing. Absolutely. Maybe we need to do a version for all 50 states. There you go. There you go. All right, folks. One more time. Hit that QR code right there. Get this song to #1 on iTunes. Get it as high as we can possibly get it on Billboard, and we'll know what that is. They tell me this coming Tuesday, and we'll find out where you are on Billboard and how high you got. Natasha Owens, thank you so much for doing it. Keep doing it. Real America's Music, folks. It's legit. It's the real thing. Not going anywhere. Thank you. Thank you. All right. I told you we have a little bit of fun here, right? Ready for this? Maybe we get Mad Dog out here. Can we get Mad Dog out here? I want to do this, guys. It's just you hit it. You got us over 10,000 subscribers. Mad Dog, I thought we'd do this. Do a little birthday cake, a little cake, a 10,000 celebration cake with. Hey, man, we like these. I just want to tell you something. Thank you all for subscribing to the Edge. We hit 10,000 subscribers. We are on our way. It's not the end. It's just the beginning. 10,000 is where we start. We will continue to grow. We will expand. Look at this. We're going to celebrate 10,000. But
you know, it's not the end. We're just getting started. We have a lot of work to do going forward. Look at that. I even got Rob lighting some candles here. Mad Dog, you going to try the cake? We got a spoon for you here. Come on.
Get in here, Mad Dog.
Come on, Mad Dog.
Get in here.
We'll have some chocolate cake. Thank you, everyone. Thank you for watching Real America's Voice. Yeah, they're supposed to be sparklers. Real America's Voice. Here we go, Mad Dog.
Let's give it a shot.
Come on, you got to get on camera. Get Mad Dog on camera. Can you get him here? There you go. That's Mad Dog. Everyone wants to see who Mad Dog is. All right, thank you again. Thank you for watching Real America's Voice. Remember, keep it on this network from top to bottom. Don't ever leave it all day long. Thank you for tuning in at 4 o'clock. Thank you for joining me. Thank you for send me those songs. You want to get on Real America's Music? Send a song and we'll play some of the songs on air. We're looking forward to it. And thank you so much for subscribing to The Edge and staying with me on that platform as well. We love you. Good to see you. And Steve Bannon is coming. Oh, thank you. Thank you.